Hi everyone, welcome back to No Sugar with Everything Krause. We officially have, both of us have the right podcast gear
Yes.
for virtual recording.
We officially have our SHIT together. Kind of.
I don't know if it's ever going to be fully together. I don't know, man. I was like doing some reflection this morning, doing my makeup, and I just am not feeling like myself right
What do
now.
you mean by that?
I don't know. Like, I was just like, why do I feel like I'm all over the place, but then so mentally not all over the place, like just like zoned out? Do you know what I mean? Like, if that makes sense. I just, like, my mind feels like it's racing, and like I'm like, oh, I just have to get organized, I have to do all this stuff, and then at the same time it's like just like quiet. And I don't know, I also think that's
I actually know exactly what you mean. It's like I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't know, I think we're like overwhelmed by the big picture of life right now. That seems to be what I'm finding myself caught up in, is I'm like overwhelmed by all of these things that I'm thinking about, but it's because I'm not taking it day by day or even step by step. I'm taking it like, wow, that's the goal.
And I just feel like my routine has been so weird since surgery. It's been so different, but now trying to get back into some sort of routine, it's like, well, I'm not teaching as much, so I've been wanting to go to the gym more, and I'm not like to put all the emphasis on working out, but like, if you know as well now, you know how important that is for us. So obviously that's going to be like one thing that's really going to throw me off. And then I'm just like, now I'm like back into teaching, and I haven't really prioritized the gym, because the days I don't go to the gym, it's like I have physical therapy, so I'm not going to like overdo it. And then the days where I don't have physical therapy, something happens in the morning where I just like don't have time to go to the gym. Like, I just know myself, I'm not going to be able to like get a good workout in, feel good, whatever it is. And it's just like something always happens. I don't know, like, this is just a random ramble.
Should you be doing full workouts yet like that though? Like, is there room for you to go to the gym?
Not even full workouts, but it's more so just like exercises outside of PT, upper body workouts, like strengthening my right leg still. Like, I just feel like I'm at this place where like I don't know what to do other than physical therapy, but like I know I should be doing more outside of physical therapy. But it's also like my physical therapist sends me links to YouTube videos that like he creates of all the exercises that we do essentially. So it's nice because my email is like, I have like a physical therapy folder on my email of all his emails. So I have access to that, but it's like when I'm going every other day, do I want to be doing the exercises in between too? Like, that, honestly, this just needs to be clarified with him. This is like more ACL stuff right now, but it just, for some reason, I'm feeling like all over the place, and and just really need to figure that out.
I also just want to remind you though, Gatiri, that this is your first week back teaching, really. Like, first, so you need to kind of go back teaching, see how your body feels, see what you still have room for. You can't make a gym plan or figure out when you're going to work out or what you're going to do in between PT days if you don't even know how you feel fully back teaching yet. So let's get back. Let's see how you feel.
I think I'm almost just like mad at myself because I feel like I should have taken advantage more of like not being on a teaching schedule for my own personal fitness. Like, the days I have gone to the gym, it's been mainly upper body, and then I'll do like a little bit of physical therapy after, just to get like some stretching in as well. And I've loved them. It's been great. Like, I've loved lifting heavy again in the gym and being able to like go do my own workout and not always being in a studio. But I feel like I didn't do that enough in the time that I had off.
I don't really know
us. It's hard not to be, we just like beat ourselves up. We always feel like we're not doing enough. Like, that's just like a chronic thing, I think entrepreneurs do. I think it really, I saw someone talking about it on Instagram today. This woman, she's the Sculpt Society woman, and she was like, I always constantly feel like I'm not doing enough in business and personal life, always constant. It's just like a constant noise in my mind. And I was like,
oh my gosh, so other people feel this too? Because it's like every single day of my life.
No, literally. And I'm like, I don't know what is it going to take to feel like I am doing what I want, like I'm saying I'm doing, because like we are doing so much of that at the same time, but it's like, I know, where do you draw the line?
I know, like at the same time, I feel like we like had great momentum, and then I'm not gonna get into it, but I also just want to say to you,
this episode is not about any of what we're talking about, just so you guys know.
No, this is just some blabberous thoughts. You can kind of tell Kateri and I's mind is running a bit in a few different directions, and just emotions, feelings, everything right now. I think we're kind of processing a lot of it, but that's always a good thing. And I also want to say, Kateri, that this is probably the first week, like, yes, you didn't do any of that while you weren't having your teaching schedule, but I don't know if you would have been able to work on your fitness game at all while you were in that recovery. Like, it's only been 2 months recovery. That is like the proper time for PT. You're getting into classes like the earliest you can probably be moving your body.
Yeah.
So this is probably, say you weren't teaching this week, this is probably the first week that you would be going back to the gym and trying to maybe do like a split type workout of like, let's strengthen and build this muscle up. So
Yeah,
it just happens to be you attacked getting back to classes early, and you could have either taken off a time of classes and just like worked out this week and worked on those personal goals, but you personally wanted the money, wanted the teaching, wanted to get back in the studio. So that's where you are.
It's so true. And I have to remind myself that like the first 4 weeks of recovery, basically like the first month is not how I'm feeling now, like physically and mentally. It's like the first week is a complete wash. It's like I wasn't like on crazy drugs, but I feel like I was just like still on like the anesthesia, the nerve block. Like I just feel like I was like, what is happening? So that week one done. Like it's a number of things.
Well, you're right, the whole first month, I don't even remember, like you couldn't even lift your heel at 4 weeks.
Yeah, no, literally.
So like, I don't know, I feel like at that time I wasn't even thinking like go to the gym or like get back into it. I was like, you can't do that yet. You're still recovering.
Yeah. So I just think a lot of it comes down to me feeling like just like put together in my life, and I don't know, it's one of those things that I'm always constantly saying to myself, and I'm tired of saying it to myself, but I don't even know what it looks like. Like I feel like I need an outside person to come in who like doesn't know me and just like help me get organized in my life together.
Well, that's another thing I want to say about entrepreneurship, just like a side note, is I wonder if other entrepreneurs experience this. You know, we come from a family of them, so we can obviously talk to it, but I don't know. I always feel like messy. Like I always feel like nothing can be organized because there's so many different things going on, especially when like what you're building is your own thing. It's like, okay, well, I'm on a walk right now, and I just thought of like 15 different things for this brainstorm session. Do I go down and write it? Do I mind map it? Like, do you know what I mean? I'm just like, I feel like there's never any way to get organized. And even when I write down a thought, it's like, then I need to do like 15 branch bullet points off of it, and then it ruined my organization. Like,
yeah.
Oh, so I don't know. That's just how I feel as an entrepreneur, is like, you are never organized, and that's something I feel like Kateri and I are really personally struggling with right now.
Yeah.
Because we were like type A students. Like I think of me at Drexel, I had 15 different to-do lists like per thing. I was so organized for all of my classes. Now that I don't have that, it's like, whoa.
Well, I also think this podcast episode could just be on all of this stuff. Should this be it? No, I'm kidding.
I know. Should this be an episode? Should we stop here?
Yeah. Maybe we should actually.
Yeah.
But my one last thing is, I think going off of that really quick is, at school you are reporting to someone in a way. So like you do have things that need to get done at a certain timeline. And when we have like brand deals, for example, we get them done. Like that's on our to-do list. We write down what we need to do. We edit, we film, we do, it's like boom, boom, boom. But it's all the other stuff that comes with us being our own bosses that is hard to like be so organized in, like you said, because it's honestly like never a full like check off the list. It's always just like a continuous thing. So
yeah, my to-do list never deletes. Like
no, and it's like if I
deletes.
put something on my to-do list for the day and check it off for that day, like chances are 9 times out of 10 it's going back on the to-do list the next day, because maybe it's like editing content. All right, well maybe like I edited the one reel I had, but now it's like the next reel. Like it's always something. And sometimes editing the reels takes 3 hours, sometimes it takes 3 minutes. Like it just depends on what's happening, and it's hard to almost like give yourself the right amount of time for that when content can, we've both been in a situation where a reel takes us all day, it feels like. Like we just can't get the sound, we can't get the words. It's like everything is going wrong with the reel, and it feels like the only thing we accomplished was the reel, and then we have to do it again tomorrow.
No, literally.
That's what's like hard about it, but I'm not complaining about it because we're choosing it every day as well. It's just
no, it's 100% the path we want, but there's also going to be obstacles with any path that you do choose.
Yeah. Okay, so all of that aside, sorry, I kind of just like feel like I hit the record button and it was like just word vomit of like everything I'm feeling right now.
Guys, that's what happens when Kateri and I FaceTime. It's like open the phone, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Another thing that we don't account for, like how long our FaceTimes can go. Anyway. So over the weekend, we celebrated Isabelle's 23rd birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what we are going to talk about today. Obviously, we had a amazing family-filled weekend, and it was such a great weekend. we're not like talking about the weekend the whole time, but I think as Isabel's older sister, I can truly attest to how wise Isabel is as a 23-year-old. I feel like everyone in our family, like aunts, uncles, everyone always says Isabel is wiser than her age. And maybe that's because she's the youngest of all the siblings and all the cousins, like the youngest in the family. And it's just around a lot of older people, a lot of experiences, where Isabel's just like, you know, you just are. So I'll let obviously Isabel kind of like take the reins a little bit more on this, but kind of going off of like the birthday weekend, this episode was inspired by that. And really before we kind of were like, this is something that I think we both just wanted to do. And yeah.
Thanks, sis. I appreciate that.
Of
That was
course.
so kind. I will say, I always felt like I've been older than my real age, or older than like the people around me that are my real age, because of my cousin dynamic, my sibling dynamic. So like Kateri just said, I am the baby of the entire family. Cousins and all, I am the youngest, which is pretty crazy to think like, wow, the youngest cousin just turned 23. Like,
I know.
I can't get
we're
over
all
it.
getting really old.
Yeah, we're all getting really, really old. But because of that, I was constantly surrounded by older people, not older people, but older kids, older mindsets, these kids who had more intense experiences. You know what I mean? Like my cousins were drinking, smoking pot, going to parties, hitting on lifeguards, like when they worked down here. And I was just this little, probably like 12-year-old who was just going to the beach with them on the Sunday, you know, like
Yeah.
I'll never forget when they took edibles and were like all throwing up, and I had no idea what was going on. I thought it was the oregano on the pizza. I was like, oh my God, they got sick from the pizza.
That's what they told us.
Yeah.
It was
so
awful.
it's just
It was
crazy.
like the worst night of his whole life's lives. So
It was so terrible.
that's a story for like, that needs to be like a paid subscription to hear those stories.
Yeah, that story is insane. But anyway, what I'm trying to say really is I've been surrounded by these older people my whole life, and I feel like it's been a blessing. And I would never say a curse. I would say there's been some downsides in a sense. I'll get to that, but I've been surrounded by so many older people that they just like accelerated my mindset almost. Like I saw life through such a different lens as someone who should have been seeing it through like a younger lens, and I was seeing it through the older perspective. I was seeing the college parties, I was seeing the drunk girls throwing up on my couch, I was seeing my brothers get arrested or get in trouble at Edgley's or something. So I got to learn from all of these experiences, and I felt like kind of live that older life in a younger girl's body. It was really interesting. So anyway,
I also just
wanted
think at the end of the day, like you are a very mature person to your core, just like your personality as well. So that aids in like everything else that you've experienced in your life and what we've all experienced as your older siblings and cousins.
Yeah.
You being so just like mature to your core, I just feel like has accelerated that even a little bit more.
100%. I feel like it's what led me to, instead of just being like a bystander of all of these things that I could have been learning, it's what allowed me to like really absorb them, learn and apply it to my life, and kind of like take those grains of salt with me. But that's really what I wanted to talk to you guys today, was not about how wise I am, not that. I appreciate you introducing me like that, Kateri, but really just about what I learned in my 23rd year. Would it be like my 23rd year? Because I'm 23 now, so I've lived.
Are you like technically?
Like this is like my 24th year on Earth.
Yeah,
Right?
because obviously like you're born and then you have your first birthday like after a year of being on Earth, so it's like you already lived that first year.
Yeah.
So you've
So I've
already
lived-
lived your 23rd year.
Yeah, so I've lived here now 23 years, fellas.
I
23
love how
years.
much we had to break that down too. That's like, it's Monday morning. I
know.
can't even. All right.
It's Monday morning. I only got a smoothie and me, no coffee.
Yeah. Oof.
I
Oh
know.
boy.
But I wanted to talk to you guys about what I learned in this 23rd year, because I felt like 22 to 23 was like a really big overall life shift for me, and I learned really valuable lessons that have just shaped me, and I feel like will dictate almost the rest of my 20s and the rest of what I'm doing right now. And I wanted to, of course, bring that to you guys and really share them, because I feel like if you're listening, if you're in your 20s, even if you're in your 30s, in your teens, these are good lessons to hear and are sort of like what I wish I could have heard
Yeah.
like a little bit ago, you know?
Exactly. And a lot of it you don't, like, you're gonna hear Isabel say things or myself say things, and you're not gonna get it until you experience things that like put you in that mindset, and that's just half of life in general. But I, like Isabel said, I think it's at any stage of life, hearing other people's perspectives and like what they learned or like their takeaways they're like my favorite things to listen to. And whether it's like you said a teenager or whether they're in their 40s, I always think it's really refreshing hearing like other people's perspective on life and what their takeaways are, because everyone's are so different and you have no idea where they come from because they're all from different experiences.
Yeah, you said that perfectly. Okay, so I just want to kind of like paint the scene. When I turned 22 last year, May 31st, if you don't know, May 31st last year, my birthday looked like I woke up early. I went on a walk. I sobbed the entire walk. I'm not sure if you remember that.
Wait, where was I?
I was in Philadelphia. You came and met me. So I had graduation photos of my birthday.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I had to stay I was very upset that I had graduation photos because if anyone knows me, like all I want to do is be with my family. When it's
that's
day
why
celebrating
I was like,
me.
when you're saying this, I'm like, why didn't we go on a walk together? Like,
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like for me, I was already upset to be there and like I wanted to be home the minute I opened my eyes. So I opened my eyes, went on this walk, was crying the entire walk because at this time in my life, I was going through a heartbreak. What I thought was a heartbreak. Oh my God, it's so funny. Like, it's so funny to laugh
looking
about
back
now.
at it now, and it's like, bro.
But I was like so sad that day, like literally so sad because Clay, I'll literally say his name. I feel like everyone knows it. I wouldn't even care if Clay listened. Hey, Clay. But he literally didn't text me until 7 p.m. He didn't text me until 7 p.m. I was like talking. There's so much to the story. But basically we were like fizzling out and that like confirmed it for me. Like my birthday was like a confirmation of like, this kid is out of my life, whether he wants it or not. Like it was like the decision I finally made for myself. And I was like dealing with that on my birthday, kind of like that realization. So I was just so heartbroken on my birthday last year. Then I had graduation photos with a group of girls who they're like, you know, they're all nice girls, but quite honestly, like weren't my people. And they know that. I'm not scared to say that because they were like, yeah, like we're not kind of the same vibe anymore. I really grew apart from them in college, but they were kind of like my sorority group. So that is who I had photos with. And my best friend at the time was also there. So that was kind of like my win for the day. The point of me telling you this is that was a year ago, right? I just turned 22. That's what was happening. I was with my best friend, I was crying over a boy. Kateri came and got me. And I was taking graduation photos with girls that were like semi my friend and I saw around. Now I'm 23. I did not speak to one of those girls from the graduation photos. The best friend is no longer in my life at all. And that boy, I can't believe I cried over him. So we're just at this point where now I turned 23 and I didn't receive a message or even converse with one of those girls that I spent my 22nd birthday with. And my emotions were completely different. I woke up smiling, as happy as I can for my mom and sister were singing happy birthday to me. Literally
serenading is well the second she opened her eyes, waving my hands in the air. Like
it was like the funniest thing to open my eyes to. And I was with my entire family in Cape May, New Jersey, not Philadelphia. So it was a really beautiful turn of events. And the reason that I'm telling you all this is because my first like biggest takeaway, I feel like for my 22nd year was how much can happen in a year. Like I paint that picture for you to understand that like I am a completely different person. I think of who that Isabelle was turning 22 and it literally makes me cry. Not because I didn't love myself. I was so upset that day. And I just think about like, wow, life is so completely different. And I know that you hear that all the time. So much can happen in a year, but I just feel like so many people say life is flying by. Oh my God, this year flew by. It's going to be 2026 before we know it. And this year really taught me like, no, life doesn't fly by. It moves at exactly the right speed that it needs to move, but it's up to you to really be present, to take it in, to go through the obstacles, really like taking in what you're learning, to reflect, to be happy, to feel joy in those moments. You know what I mean? Like it was all of these things that happened in the year that just showed me how all it takes is like 1 year really for your life to change. I don't know. I'm like rambling right now on the same topic. I wanted to share that because I just can't, I'm baffled.
Well, no,
I'm baffled at where I was and where I am.
And people do say that a lot, like a lot can change in a year. And like I said in the beginning of this, it's hard to put yourself in that mindset of like understanding that until you experience your own things that make you realize that. But it's one of the beautiful things of life of that, like, yes, a year does go by so fast, but half the time it goes by so fast is because so much is happening. And like when I think about, like if I even think about like Christmas time, like that feels like forever ago, but also it feels like yesterday at the same time. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like how much has happened since January 1st to now June 2nd. Like how much has changed in just those months. And it's kind of wild. It's like who I was January 1st is completely different. Yeah. I had a working ACL. And I was like a normal person, just like thinking that like even the direction of taking everything Krause and what we were doing was completely different January 1st than it is now. And our mindset on it is very different. And it's like all the little things that happened in between that time has gotten us to this point, and it's been for a reason. And I feel like it's hard to recognize it when you're in it, of like, yes, so much is changing this year. Like all of this is like, so much is happening, until you reflect back on it. And one of the things I tried to start doing, and when I say tried, it's because like I feel like I haven't updated it in a little bit. So you talking about it made me realize this, but I started making like just like on my notes app, for one for everything Krause, and then one for just like me personally, of like milestones throughout the year, and just like wrote it down. Like when Isabelle and I worked with Athleta, we wrote down like Athleta paid campaign. Like I'm not afraid to say that. Like that was a huge, massive thing for us. And it was like, whoa, this is crazy. We got invited to our first influencer event. Whoa, this is like just like jotting things down like that. So then when you do look back on your year, you can go back and see all those things and be like, oh my God, look how much happened. That happened this year. Like that feels like, I can't believe that all happened this year. And then it can just make you feel, I think, a little bit more optimistic too. Like if you're in a situation right now that you don't love, like I can very much attest, I don't love my life in this very moment at all times. There are parts of my life that I love, but there are parts of my life that I'm like, damn, I really wish I wasn't here. I really wish I was, 9 months post-op and didn't have to deal with this freaking thing anymore. But that's not the case, and I don't want to wish away my life. But then you can use all of it to, I don't know, just, I forget where I was going with this, if I'm being honest.
You were saying like you can use it to really have hope for like when you're out of this time.
Yes, okay, thank you. So like if you're in a situation where like you're like, I don't love what's happening right now, it just gives you that, like you said, that hope, that optimism to be like, this isn't going to be forever. This is just a very small season of my life. And
like this too shall pass.
Yeah, exactly. And I just feel like it can be hard to think about that when you're in, not that like you were in a bad situation on your 22nd birthday, like maybe you didn't love everything, but there were parts of it that you did love. But it's like when you can now remind yourself of like so much does happen in a year. Now, if say something bad was happening to you right now, you're like, okay, well, a lot can change. This isn't going to be like my entire year.
Yeah.
Like just because this is happening, it doesn't change the rest of my life forever. Maybe it does, but it doesn't mean you're going to live in that like sadness or heartbreak or anger, whatever it is that you're feeling all the time. So sorry.
No, I love that little snippet because that is like one, I do kind of the same thing. I actually want to start doing the writing it down in my notes thing. I forgot that you were doing that.
Yeah.
When we would be talking about that. What I really did, like what I did before this episode was I kind of went back at my camera roll because I'm a picture girl, and I looked at my camera roll from that birthday on and kind of like lived through the milestones, or even lived through like the sadness. Like I'm big on like taking, like I always take videos when I cry, just like for myself, and I'll like talk to the camera. And I have the funniest Snapchat video for my birthday last year of me being like crying to the camera, being like, Isabelle, when you see this in the future, if you don't remember who you're crying over a kid named Clay. It's like the funniest thing ever, but it's just like ways for me to remember.
Because you actually probably wouldn't have remembered.
No,
like, what was I crying about? That's how little it is.
It wouldn't have remembered, but it's those things that I reference and will look back on and be like, oh my God, like remember when I thought the world was ending? So I do love what you said of like, it's a great way to really place yourself in that. There is good coming, and there always will be good coming, and this is just a season that you're going through.
Well, because I think that's the hardest part for people when you're going through just like a rough part of life, is to be optimistic. And I think a lot of people will argue like, oh, it's so much easier said than done, or like being happy all the time isn't realistic. And it's not about being happy all the time. It's exactly what you're saying, like knowing that more is coming, and like your life isn't over. And I just feel like it helps you put trust in God's plan of like all these other things that are working because you're going through something like this. Like who knows what this is doing right now in your life, and what it's giving you the strength to do in the future and to work through, or just accomplish, or who knows whatever you're going through, maybe it's going to introduce you to someone or a group of people, or just completely change your life forever. And sometimes it's like the worst moments, like maybe going through that heartbreak on your 22nd birthday. It's like, what did you learn from that person, that experience and everything?
Here I am still reflecting on it. Like that's
exactly.
How much
and you're taking it into your 23rd year, and now you're taking all of that into future relationships as well, because you know exactly what you don't want. And it's like, as much as the bad situations suck, it's like you kind of have to have them to learn more about yourself, to grow, to get stronger, and just be like the best version of yourself. Like you have to have trials and obstacles, truly.
Yeah. No, you really do. Something else I just want to share too from the year perspective of like 22 to 23 is I just think you guys will enjoy hearing this. June 12th last year, right? So 13 days after my birthday, 2 days before Katiri's birthday. June 12th last year was the day that we posted a reel, and this reel happened to be the first reel that like really went viral in a sense of engagement, interactions, like gaining followers from it. And it was the reel that we posted on June 12th that completely grew Everything Krause's account, that brought traction to it, that brought traction to all of our other reels. It's what inspired us to start, okay, oh my God, let's post every single day. Like, it's really just what kickstarted the Everything Krause energy, our plans, our visions. Oh my gosh, this is possible.
Like actually seeing it, as a possibility.
Yeah, like actually seeing like, oh, we can build something. And the reason I want to share that is because I graduated on June 14th last year, Katiri's birthday, but I graduated 2 days after this reel. And this reel didn't go viral that day that we posted it. It went viral in like July, actually. Like early July. But that was 2 days before graduation. And I remember freaking out at graduation, feeling like I'm just going to get my MBA because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not meant to go work a job right now. I don't want to go work a job. I need to buy myself time to figure this out. Little did I know what the heck was coming. Like, that's what I'm just trying to paint is like June 12th. That's why I basically mark like the start of Everything Krause, like right around my birthday, because it was right after it.
Yeah.
That entire year from my birthday to now 23, what happened in that year? We built Everything Krause. We built a community. We now have 83,000 followers. We now have all these brand deals. We're now building it into a whole business, selling. You know what I mean? Like, we're building a brand now, and that just happened in 1 year. And I want to show you guys that because I would have never thought this was coming this year. And I am in the position right now that I prayed to be in last year. Like, I can't believe it, and there's still so much work to be done now. I'm like praying to be at the next stage. But right now where I am, I would have never imagined being here on my 22nd birthday. And I can't believe I am. So I just wanted to also share that to kind of like really put the hammer in of like, a lot happens in a year. Like, my life is completely changed. I'm going down a different avenue. I no longer have job resumes. I no longer use LinkedIn. Like, that's crazy.
I know.
So,
literally. I always say social media is my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
That's like what I say to my physical therapist, because like obviously he posts on LinkedIn and things like that, like for his network of people and surgeons, and I'm like, go to my social media, that's my LinkedIn. You can tag me on there, but like I'm not on there.
No, literally.
Although if you go on there, it's like me and my sculpted photo shoot. So I'm in like sports bras and leggings, and like my profile picture is literally like me in this like tiny CSB bra. And I'm like, damn, I wish I was wearing like a t-shirt, like a tight little top, like instead of these little bras. But that's also just me changing my perspective on half the things I wear.
But that's why I like don't like LinkedIn, because LinkedIn has this vibe of like, oh, to network you need to be in like a suit and business professional. It's like there's different industries of networking. There's fitness influencers and Pilates instructors that should all be on LinkedIn networking and sharing contact information. But it's so dialed down to be like the same exact, like sheep. Everyone's a sheep on that.
Yeah, I know.
On LinkedIn, everyone has the same profile, the same post, the same bio.
I came across this professional. Have to be like
I had the pleasure of interning this summer at this, and I'm like, what was your real experience? I want to hear what you really went through. I want to hear your real reflection on it.
I know.
I always hated that about LinkedIn.
Well, and it's just like crazy. Like, we've made so many more connections outside of LinkedIn than I could even ever imagine. And that's just obviously a lot of people we work with are in the social space. So it's like, that's why I say social media is our LinkedIn, because our DMs, half are like our followers, our community and things like that. And then the other half are our brands or people just wanting to do something with us or work with us or like whatever it is. It could just is like a half network, half community building.
Yeah,
really.
That's another big thing I honestly learned this year was networking. Is every opportunity that came to Katiri and I mean, we obviously believe that God really brought them into our life, but was through the networking opportunities that God placed. And Katiri and I really sees the opportunity of like, if we saw a business owner and we were interested in working with them, I feel like Katiri and I got really good at just, oh, why don't we say something to them now? It doesn't need to be, we'll email them later and follow up, but why don't we just like plant the seed now? And Katiri and I really got good at during this year, just like opening up conversations, attacking conversations, reaching out, hey, can we hop on a call? And just understanding that networking is not only the best way to learn and meet other people and meet who can potentially help you, but to also like just expand your circle of ideas. Like there's so many network connections I met that actually led me and you to where our ideas and are now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Siri and I took a call the other week. It was like a life-changing call. The kid, I don't even think the kid realized it, but he totally shifted our perspective, and we've taken a a new like approach on everything Krause ever since. So
exactly. And I think that's just all about putting yourself outside of your comfort zone as well, because mom and I were driving home from Cape May like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and it was right after, I guess it was only last week, it was right after we were talking to just someone in Cape May that we were trying to do business with, and the conversation happened so naturally, and mom was like, I couldn't believe that you and Isabelle just like immediately were like, not like in a pushy way started talking about business, but just weren't afraid to be like, this is everything Krause, this is what we're trying to do this summer, we want to work with you, let's set up a call and like do all this. And I said to mom in that moment, I was like, one, I feel like I gained that confidence from watching Isabelle do it, because like I said, Isabelle's really good at that. Isabelle's good at just being like, I don't care, I'm just gonna say it, whether it's going up to the priest and asking to do confession or bless a rosary, or whether it's a business pitch. Like Isabelle's very good at that. But also it came from me then being like, okay, I am scared to say this right now, I don't want to be awkward, I don't want to be weird, but I'm just going to do it anyway. And every time I've pushed myself outside of my comfort zone and said the thing I was too scared to say, or, you know, approach the business partner, whatever it was, it has all like built up to now me being like, yeah, let's set up a call, let's do this. Oh yeah, I want to talk business on the fly, like I'm fine to do that. And that obviously comes from like practice and repetition, but it's just like taking advantage of stepping outside of your comfort zone, because it does help you grow in so many ways. And whether you're networking or whether you're just like interested in doing something and want to put yourself out there, whether it's like going on the first date or meeting new friends, you will never regret putting yourself out there. Maybe sometimes the fire will burn a little bit and then you'll be like, okay, I'm gonna do it differently, or I'm gonna adjust, but it's always like you will benefit from putting yourself out there, stepping outside of your comfort zone, networking, doing what you need to do. And yeah, I just feel like it's like one of those things that I've learned alongside you this past year, 100%.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I love that you just brought that up and said that, Kateri, because that goes from like what we just talked about. That's why we've been able to have a life-changing year from 22 to 23 is because we constantly, I don't think we even realized it, but we constantly sought discomfort, and discomfort is where you grow. So if you're someone listening to this, and I'm not trying to like harp on you, but if you're listening to this and being like, wow, I don't feel like by my next birthday, like I'm going to be in a different position, it's always been the same position, maybe you're not seeking out like growth oriented activities or things throughout the year. Like Kateri just said, I'll be very transparent about my year. This was a year where I think I really did push myself to be uncomfortable more than I realized it. Like Kateri said, I went up to the priest for the first time and asked for a confession. I've never done that before. I've only ever gone on confession, and I know that doesn't seem very scary, but for me it was.
Oh my gosh,
I talked to that priest
about
something. Yeah, I talked to that priest about something that was very personal to me. It was like the first time I've really ever opened up to a priest. That was really uncomfortable for me, but it showed me how easy hard conversations can be. It showed me to just like ask and receive. Another like funny thing, it sounds funny to me, but like that I've done in this year, which I've noticed more than the other years, is I started just saying like yes to dates. I feel like Kateri knows like I'm pretty particular, and I have pretty good standards. So like I have an idea if like a guy's gonna like be my vibe or not.
Exactly. You're not
so I don't like
yes to
I don't
anyone who exists, but like,
yeah, I'm not saying yes to anyone who exists, exactly, but I did say yes a lot more. And like this is gonna sound funny, and I feel like it sounds like so guy crazy, and I'm not guy crazy, which is why this year was so funny. But like from that Clay kid back in May, like I met someone great in the fall. I went on dates with him. He was awesome. Kind of like all my things always fizzle out. We'll get into that another time. But like there was just like three. It was like him to this new guy that I met in the fall that I went on dates with, who was great, to this new guy that I met in January that I went on dates with and don't feel as great anymore, but was great
in the moment.
Hence why I'm still riding for that September guy. I'm like, you're good, you didn't hurt me. But anyway, I'm just saying those things because that wasn't, not that it was uncomfortable to go on dates for me, but like I didn't want to go sit and talk at a dinner table or go on a walk and talk to all these guys, or even just get to know someone all these times, especially after being like so heartbroken in the past. Not heartbroken, but heartbroken for what I knew. But it was because I put myself out there and went on these more dates that I really learned. And I always said to God, like, oh my God, why are you bringing so many guys into my life right now? Because I kept taking the opportunities that God was giving me. I kept learning and learning. With each guy there was a lesson, and I was refined of like what I was looking for in my future husband.
Even just learning about yourself, like in a relationship. Like, yeah, I think in our just like even sister dynamic, like we've talked about on the podcast, like I didn't date in college. Like I really never went on a date until I started dating Tyler. Like that was like, he was my first even official date. So you had an older sister that also wasn't doing that and wasn't like just go on the dates. Like that's how I met, that's how I met Tyler, because I was like going on dates with people and it like helped me fine tune. Like you didn't have that experience of someone being like, yeah, do it. And even with mom dated like 2 people in her life. One was someone and she was like, I knew he wasn't my husband, so we broke up, and one was that. So it's like, we come from a family of women that like don't do that a lot. So that in itself is like you pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone so much so that even I was like, wow, damn, like I didn't think I could do that. And I was like in those moments so happy that I was in a relationship, because I'm like, I do not want to be dating. Like going on my first date with Tyler was nerve-wracking enough. Like you
guys should have seen the one encounter I had. I had my whole family on the edge of their seat. This guy came from literally
drove from
Illinois to go on this date with me, which I was very grateful for and thankful for. But it was like really funny because I was just so nervous
and therefore
to meet him.
Family.
Like he literally met the entire family, came in, introduced, and I was just like so nervous. Like it was such a thing. I was so jealous of Kateri at that moment. She was like, yeah, I would be nervous too. I was like, okay.
Meanwhile, I went to a hockey game with my boyfriend of 3 years.
Yeah, literally. So the point of all of this is that in order for it to be a busy year, not busy, but in order for it to be like a step, you know what I'm trying to say, like a big step kind of year, a growth year, you need to place yourself in uncomfortable situations. You need to push yourself. You need to be willing to take risks. You need to be, I don't have it all figured out. I'm just saying that I just started saying yes to these uncomfortable situations, and I experienced an insane amount of growth. So I want the same for you. Don't waste time like I did. Hop on it now.
No, literally.
That's basically what this episode's for. I'm trying to share the lessons that I've learned so that you guys don't have to go through the same things, or can kind of just take the information and use it in life now. Okay, another big lesson I learned this year that I wanted to share, because I'm not sure if others feel this way or if others are at this stage of their life yet. But if you're my age and you're listening, you may not be. It may be coming in the next few years. Maybe you're in it right now. Maybe you're past it and are like, I had the same feelings. But as I said, I am the youngest child of all of my cousins, of all of my siblings. And because of that, I've sort of always felt like, how do I want to say this? I've watched life change before me, like in such dramatic ways. For such a long time of my childhood, it was just every single cousin worked in Cape May. Every single cousin went to high school and college. We worked there during our summers. We went to the beach. It was the same thing. We're now at an age where life is really starting to change. My cousins are having babies. My brother is having a baby, had a baby. My siblings, my sister, Xander, are going to get married soon, are going to be engaged. You're not engaged, but are going to be engaged soon. Like things are really starting to change in life. And I remember like when these changes really started to happen, I would dread getting older. Like I hated getting older because I knew that it meant we were closer and closer to like these years. And I started dreading this new chapter because I was so in love with the chapter that we were in. I was so in love with the lifestyle that we were already living as a family. And it's not quite frankly, I wasn't always excited. I always was like, man, like my siblings are going to grow up, we're going to get separated, like Joseph's going to have a family soon. Like it just didn't make me the most excited. And I've realized now, I've kind of like really shifted my perspective of, I had to look inward and realize that it's such a beautiful thing that I'm growing in this way, that this is the point of life, is to experience these different chapters, these different segments, these different stages, because I loved that stage so much. But as I approach my 23rd or 24th year, whatever it is, as I approach it, I have such an understanding of like, this is the whole point. I don't know if this makes sense. I just used to dread getting older. And I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm 25 this year. Or, no, I'm turning 30 this year. And I'm like, that's the point of life, is to get older, is to go through these different stages. Like right now, I am a 23-year-old. What I experience this year will be my 23rd year. That's the stage I'm in. If Joseph is experiencing different things, like, do you know what I mean? Like, when
he's 29 years old, of course he's experiencing different things.
Of course he's experiencing different things. And I used to hate that he was, but then I realized like, how blessed am I to learn and watch from him who's going through something before me. Like I now get to see him become a father and go through parenthood for the first time.
Exactly.
That's something I can learn from. I don't know. It was just like a really big shift for me from, wow, I'm super scary for what's ahead, I don't know what's coming, to I don't know what's coming, and I think that's the beauty of life. Like, I
Yeah.
can't wait for my grandparents' age. I'm not rushing to be old. I'm so young right now. I don't want to be 80 right now, but I know when I am 80, it's going to be really beautiful because I'm going to be experiencing being a grandparent for the first time.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. It's just been this big realization of like, wow, a lot can happen in a year, and also take it in and enjoy these stages, because once the stage is over, you're on to the next stage, and you don't really get that other stage back. So
Well, it's just like when you're like, I know we keep saying, but like you're the youngest. So when Joseph got to high school, like you obviously weren't in high school. So he's experiencing and doing all this stuff. And at the time you don't realize it, like how far apart you might feel in that moment. And like you might not feel as like weird because you're just, you know, you're young, you're not like processing it all. But it's like the same thing we got to learn as his younger sisters. Like we always say, like we learned a lot from Xander and Joseph, like having parties at our house, like going out and just like having girlfriends, everything. Like we got to see so much of that and learn so much. Now it's just the same thing in a different, way different way of like way more maturity, and obviously like real life things of, you know, Joseph and Julia now have a baby. Like they have it's a completely new chapter, and it's hard not to be like, oh, I wish I was there with them doing that. Like I want to also be there. Like even me, I'm like, I wish we were all having babies right now so we could all be like doing it together, and it's not like Joseph off on an island and us three are like trying to catch up to him. And now like him and Brittany, like they, you know, they have the families. Like now Joseph has entered Brittany's realm of like starting families, you know, and Brittany's like, I've been in this thing for
she's
5
like, I've been
years.
here alone for quite some time.
Like my oldest is turning 5. Okay, he's big. Like he has a full blown personality where she's always saying like, can you guys freaking catch up already? But I think it's just like a beautiful way to now be like, okay, now we're going to learn a lot from, like, we see how Brittany and Brendan are with their children. We see what it's like to, when we go and visit, like have 3 children running around the home, and like how much we're not ready for that yet. Like, I think that's like the main thing that when we go learn, it's like, whoa, I am so not at this phase of life yet. And even with Joseph and Julia now with Kennedy, it's like, that's crazy. Like your world revolves around this little thing, and she's the easiest she's going to be in this moment.
Literally. I said that.
So,
they said yesterday on the porch, no one else was out there but me, and they both looked at each other and they're like, we kept her alive for 2 weeks. And I was like, oh my God, that is a milestone.
Yeah, like, because they're new at this, they're brand, they have no idea what they're doing, and that's one of those things, like, you can't prepare, you can only prepare so much until you're doing the experience, but it's like, how much are we now going to learn from now Joseph entering, and then Xander, and then me, and then you, and it's like, obviously, you know, me and you could be entering at the same time, who knows, but
I hope, God willing.
I know, but it's just, it's one of those things that now we get to learn a lot from in a different way, and it can be hard not to get upset by it sometimes. I even think that way all the time, but it's, like you said, it's just shifting that perspective to looking at like the good in that, and now we're entering as a family like a different phase of life, and before we know it, we're all going to be in like the kid phase and growing our families and going through grade school, high school, all the things, the sports, all of it. Like it's, we're all just going to be thrown into it, and that's going to be a big chunk of our life. And then before we know it, it's going to change again to like our kids having,
literally
getting married and having kids. Like
that's what Mom said. Mom was like, this baby came out of my kid. Like I had a kid, then he had a kid. The woman across the street ran over and was like, I can't believe I'm seeing like a 3rd generation right now. Like what? You were Anne's grandchild. Yeah. Just a really crazy experience.
No, I know. It's weird, but it's like, it's one of those things that I think is when I have always thought this, but like this is why your perspective matters so much, because it can really make or break just your mindset in general. Like it can really shift so much for you, and it's, perspective really is everything in every single situation. And I think,
well, it's like oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, when you work on your perspective of how you see things and how you perceive things, eventually like everything kind of starts to like ripple and like work together more. Do you know what I mean? It's like you just, perspective and mindset go kind of hand in hand.
No, you're 100% right. How you choose to see the world is what's going to ultimately come true for you.
Yeah.
So it would have been a real shame if I kept that perspective and moved into this new chapter dreading it and not really embracing it and enjoying it, because it probably would have put a damper on not only my experience but also your experience, my brother's experience, and everyone around me's experience.
Yeah.
So
meanwhile, it's like the greatest thing ever, and it's just such a beautiful thing to happen. Like we got to be with Kennedy all weekend. It was like the most amazing thing in the world. I just can't.
I want her. I want 20.
I know.
Maybe
like,
I'll see them have 3 and be like, never mind.
Yeah, she's like the most precious thing to exist on this planet Earth. Like I just
She really
can't get
is.
over it. I literally can't get over
She
it.
really is.
I guess I'm smiling. Thinking about
Kenny girl.
Kenny.
Okay, anyway, I'll wrap this up. Not right now, I have one more thing.
Go ahead.
But kind of like the last thing that I really wanted to touch on was that, I don't know, I just wanted to share like a personal reflection on me, kind of how I'm feeling going into 23, what my new goals are, and how I've really changed. Like I said, a lot happened. Another thing I really did this year was grow closer to God. And you guys know, like when I was 22, like 21 to 22 last year, I couldn't fathom my relationship getting deeper. And it's just really crazy to see how there's always room to grow closer to God. And I grew closer to him in such a unique way this year. I don't even know how to describe it. It wasn't that, oh, my prayer walk and talks became like deeper. It was more so I added in praying in the rosary. I started, looking at like more of a modest lifestyle, more like godly living.
Yeah.
And it really just helped me grow so much closer to God. And I think it really profoundly like impacted my entire year, because as the months went on and as I grew closer and closer, as I started dropping cursing from my language, as I removed secular music and started listening to worship music in the gym, as I started praying the rosary, like all of these different things that came into my life, I was refined, and I saw God refining me in the most beautiful ways. And I just feel like growing closer to God and growing your relationship with him always like leads you on the right path. And that's why I'm where I want to be, or where I prayed to be on my 22nd birthday, because I've been growing with him and I've been asking for his will and his plan. Not always, there was moments in the year where I didn't realize it, but ultimately I always came back, like whether it took a month or 2 months for me to get to the realization of like, God, I want your plan for me. And that's how I took like such big steps, because now I'm here. Right now I feel like I'm really operating in that plan for God. And as I grew closer to him, he really changed me as a person. Like I feel completely different than who I was at 22, because at 22 I was crying over that guy, and I don't think I wanted the best for him. I don't think I wanted to pray for him. I don't think I was really nice about, those girls that made me feel like crap on my graduation photos days and my birthdays who never said happy birthday to me. I think I kind of turned to anger more than forgiveness. Like there's just so many things where now I'm more gentle, I'm more kind. I try not to curse. I try to be more understanding and bring more light to other people's life, instead of like bringing their day down just because I may be in a bad mood. Now, of course, I'm human. I'm still struggling with all of these things, but I just feel like such a different person in a sense, where almost more godly. Like I really focused on becoming a more godly woman, and I feel more godly now. Even approaching my 23rd year, when I sat down with Kateri on the porch, talking about everything Krause and like what we wanted for the future. Last year, when that virality came, like I said, that June reel that we posted went viral in July. When all of that started happening, Kateri and I started racking our brains with like, wow, this can happen. And it was almost all, I don't want to say it was all financial driven, but we were very like, not materialistic either, but we were so excited about the possibility of like being successful, of being wealthy, of making money from social media. And now where we are with everything Krause is like, I want to make money and I need it to, so that I can keep doing what we do. But the goal is not the same anymore. Like I get excited about spreading the word of God. I get excited about bringing a fitness and Bible group together in Cape May and blowing up health and wellness down here. That's what I get excited by. It's not the check that really excites me anymore. It's about the impact that we can make. It's about the using the gifts that God gave us for his purpose, and to really praise him and draw more people near him. And I feel like I wouldn't have gotten to this realization or even been thinking this way without starting to sacrifice my instant pleasures of life and really focusing on living these godly lifestyles. Like I love secular music. I love it. It has been a sacrifice. Like when I'm in the gym and I don't want to put on Drake, because I'm like, that's secular music. Like, I don't want those sound waves. I have to choose that worship music. I love worship music, but sometimes I don't want to listen to it.
You don't want it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want it. Like these tiny sacrifices that are really hard to make are ultimately the ones that like lead you really to that plan of God. And I just felt him refining me this year. I feel way more godly, even though I still am quick to anger sometimes.
Yeah,
I just feel
never perfect.
Yeah, I just feel more godly, and I've seen my more godly lifestyle affect my goals and what I'm working for. And as I change my goals and what I'm working for to be centered around how can I give to other people, or how can I praise God, everything seems to fall into place.
Yeah.
Like everything. The opportunities come to us. We don't even act and we get calls. It's like crazy. I just feel like sacrificing that to God and really following what he wants for you ultimately will always lead you where you want to be, where you need to be. And that's like what I learned this year. That's the summary of what I learned this year, is like trusting in God's plan and asking for his will, because his will brought me here and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And I know that going into this next year, wherever his will brings me, it brings me, and I'm going to be really happy with it. Even if it's a really shitty year, I'm going to be really happy because I know that this year is crucial for the rest of my life.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a beautiful way to put it. And I have no notes.
No notes, but I am going to show you on the last note my new purple sparkly cup that will be with me for the entire 23 to 24 year. So when I turn 24, I'll have a new cup.
I don't know what is happening with my hair right now. Like, I had an itch like in my ear, and then I moved my headphones. So
I love you.
I don't want to take away from Isabelle's purple cup because it is the most beautiful.
I'm like, you could have done that any other time. You could have done that when I was talking about God. I'm kidding.
Anyway,
love you, God.
Yeah, that's Isabelle's purple cup that's staying with her for the entirety of the year. It looks so good with you right now.
I think it really works with my caramel hair.
Yeah, like, and your like skin tone right now is just like already tan.
Anyway, so we'll see what color I pick on my 24th. But
yeah, well, there was two options. There was that or like this green, but it wasn't like a green that was like a U green. Do you know what I mean? It was
like it wasn't like a olive
But now
green.
I'm kind of contemplating like I should just get the green because you know I want a sparkly cup too. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah.
I hope you guys thought this was valuable. We didn't really know how to take this episode. I have so many more thoughts on everything that really happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, they could like.
I felt like these were like the big the big takeaway. Like as I reflect on the year, what's like the biggest 3 takeaways I took? Growing closer to God. I don't remember anything else I said. You know them.
Yeah.
you all know.
Listened. You just listened. You heard it. That's it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I also just like want to point out as like someone who was just listening to Isabelle talking and like about her faith and everything and just like everything that we've talked about. I think a lot of it is like, for example, growing closer to God. It's not one of those things that Isabelle was putting so much pressure on of like, I need to, how can I grow closer to God? All this stuff. It's more so just like, oh, yeah, we're always in the pursuit of growing closer to God, of course. But all of those things like with the secular music, living a more modest lifestyle, you know, praying the rosary, all those things kind of came naturally and then in their own ways. And it's more so you being willing to like take the action, make the sacrifices, do what you need to do. That now looking back, it's like that was me growing closer. But in the moments, it's just like we always say, God presents us with options and presents us with opportunities, and it's whether you take the opportunity or not that's going to either like lead you closer to him, lead you to closer to like your success and where you want to be, all that stuff. It's more so the options and the opportunities will be in front of you, and whether you're willing to see them or not, you kind of have, that's like on you. Like God can only do so much. And I feel like that is with your relationship with him. It's with like everything that's happened in the past year.
That's 100%, I would say, accurate for this entire episode.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just the faith.
The one to take the action.
Yeah, exactly. God can really only not only do so much, but like he's only going to give you so many opportunities, or he's, you know, he can't take your hand and do it for you. He can't make you do something. You just have to, you know, open your eyes and kind of see it in every aspect of life itself. And that can be hard. Of course, it's not going to be, you know, there's probably opportunities that I have missed in terms of everything Krause, in terms of business. Like there's definitely opportunities we have missed and we didn't seize, but we didn't realize it in the moment. And then maybe like looking back, it's like, okay, we could have changed things differently. We should have responded to that email. We should have gotten back to them. You know, there's so many things, but it's like you learn from it. And it's like, okay, the next email that comes in or the DM of like setting up a call, we're going to just answer and get on the call and just see what happens, because why not? And if it still doesn't work out after that, okay, at least we did something to see if it was something that we wanted to do or whatever it is. So
no, 100%.
I think that's
literally what happened with everything Krause, just so you know. Like that's a prime example. June 12th, we posted that reel. It went viral in July. We had 2 options there. Be consistent and post every single day and keep going even if we don't get views, or give up when we don't go viral again and realize that it's really hard and not be where we want to be. Yeah. We chose to seize the opportunity that God gave us. It's like, I just love that you just said that, because it's so true. Like I didn't seek out praying the rosary. I didn't I didn't look up how to become more godly and be like, oh, I want to be modest now. It was actually like through a conversation with another person. Like it was, all of these things were really brought to me, but it was just having eyes open to see that it's God moving in my life and acting on it, that he was able to work through me.
Yeah, exactly.
You can pray to God, you can pray to catch the bus, but you also have to run to catch the bus. It's one of my favorite sayings. Like, you really need to follow prayer with action, because that's the only way that God can really work in your life.
Exactly. And that's kind of just wrapping up what I was complaining about in the beginning of this episode that had nothing to do with as well as year reflection. But this morning I like started praying to God because I just like was doing my makeup and feeling really anxious of like, I don't, like, maybe that's my issue, is like I'm not doing the action that I'm praying on. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just praying, or I'm just like complaining or like getting it out to God, but like, where's the action in that? And that's not a bad thing to realize either. You know, it's like, it's almost like that's what God gave me, the answer in the prayer of that. And I think that is really important as well. So,
and maybe just Kateri, side note for you and I, just a conversation, and we can keep it. But maybe, Kateri, you need to also talk to God and be like, give me clarity on the vision of what it's looking like with my ACL, what it's looking like teaching and my fitness career. Because I was asking God for action steps for a really long time, and then it took me until I realized that I lost sight of the vision, and that's why I don't know the steps. And I needed God to give me the vision. And I feel like he gave us that vision back, and the steps have been clear as day. So like, I feel like that'd be a great way to find peace for you too.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's like hard to like surrender that, but also like you saying that, I'm like 100%, you know, like that's
when you will be able to, like, if you tell yourself that, no, I went to God with this and asked him to show me the way, you can surrender it more, because you're like, no, I told him that. I didn't ask him to like make me strong. I asked him to show me the way. I know that the way is coming, and I will be on the lookout.
Exactly. So,
you know?
All right, we have to wrap this up because I got to go to physical therapy. Speaking of ACL, so Isabelle, why don't you go ahead and tell them your biggest wish for your birthday?
Yeah, my biggest birthday wish, like literally what would make my entire life year, everything, make my 23rd birthday the best in the world, would be if you subscribe to this YouTube channel, if you liked this video, commented on this video. What have you learned in your past year? I'm not sure when your birthday was. What was a big takeaway that you learned? Just interact with us. Follow us on Instagram at Everything Krause, at Sculpted with Kateri, at No Sugar Pod. We want to keep supporting everyone else and really growing our community, growing everyone closer to a godly life and living the life that they are happy with. So please keep sharing our page, our podcast, our account, everything, because the more you share, the more people we reach, and that truly is our goal.
Yes, literally. It's like
A purple cup. Cheers to that.
Cappuccino, flower mug. Cheers to that. Cheers.
Cheers, sis. Miss you.
Miss ya. Love ya. Bye. No, I'm
Love
kidding. Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We hope you have an amazing rest of your day, an amazing rest of your week, like Isabelle said. And like we always say, we truly do appreciate you guys so much, and can't thank you enough for just the endless support in this past year, and just all this growth that Isabelle's experienced, that I've experienced, that we've experienced together as a community. We truly wouldn't be here without all of you, whether you realize it or not, or think we just say it to say it. It truly is such an important part of our life, and we give a lot of that credit to all the other people that don't make the decisions we make every day, that just kind of support whatever we do. And we actually can't thank you guys enough, because this year has been what it is because of the following and community that we've created, but we can't do that without you guys. Like, you're a huge piece of that puzzle. So
stop, I'm literally gonna cry.
No, literally, oh my God.
Like, everything I just said, the reason I'm living in an answered prayer is because of this community, because of everyone listening right now. So you are so unbelievably appreciated. Kateri and I probably cry about it once a week. So
no, literally. So we just can't thank you guys enough. And yeah, we'll let you go. We'll stop rambling, but we hope you have an amazing rest of your day, an amazing rest of your week, and we will see you next time.